Hi everybody, my name is Sadia and welcome to a series of free webinars run by 2Health, which is an occupational health services provider, and we specialise in customised wellbeing solutions, awareness sessions, so like the one that you're attending today, workplace needs assessments, along with other solutions that can be tailored to individual needs. So today's short webinar aims to help you to understand a little bit more about neurodiversity, and we will also be taking a look at some of the actionable strategies that can help to alleviate workplace stress. And we will also be looking to take a look at some of the unique strengths that neurodiverse individuals can bring to the table. And the aim is to empower you with a few insights that can promote collaboration, communication, and reduce stress. So I just do want to emphasize that these free 30-minute sessions are intended as introductory only, trying to provide a taste or a high-level overview of the topic at hand. So it is important to note that they are offered free of charge, and they're not here to provide a comprehensive and exhaustive exploration of the subject matter. If you are seeking more comprehensive and in-depth sessions, please do get in touch. Okay, so I just want to start by taking a look at what neurodiversity is. Well, this term, neurodiversity, it's an umbrella term which aims to capture a number of learning and developmental difficulties. And it's defined as the concept that neurological differences such as autism, ADHD, dyslexia, and others are the result of normal natural variation in the human genome. And some of the common terminology you may hear includes neurodiverse, neurodivergent, SPLD, so that stands for specific learning differences, SEND, special educational needs and disabilities, and these are the terms that tend to be used in education. You may also hear neurodifference, neurodevelopmental, neuroidentity, and neurotypical, so that refers to somebody that is not neurodiverse or neurodivergent. So the idea of neurodiversity is to embrace difference, but also recognise that some people who are will require extra support. And we're trying to move away from the medical model of abnormality or something that needs curing. It's important to understand that these are lifelong conditions. They cannot be cured, nor are we looking to cure them, but they can be successfully managed. So here are some of the key conditions that fall under neurodiversity. There are others, but these are the ones that we will look at very briefly today. Sometimes neurodiversity is referred to as a hidden disability, and that's because it's not as obvious as a physical disability. So conditions such as dyslexia, dyspraxia, or developmental coordination disorder, as it's also known, dyscalculia, ADHD, autism. So all of these conditions are a different way of processing information, and it's important to understand that people who are neurodivergent can be found across the spectrum of intellectual ability. So it has nothing to do with intelligence. Usually these conditions are persistent, so they will have been present since childhood, but also we do know that they can be brought on by head injury, brain trauma, or a stroke, for instance. There is also a co-occurrence of these conditions. That means that they can co-occur together. So, for instance, autism and ADHD can occur together, or dyscalculia and dyslexia, for example. Now, unfortunately, there is also a very high co-occurrence of these conditions and stress and mental health conditions. So we will look at that a little bit later. So I just want to briefly outline some of the challenges associated with each condition and what support you can ask for, or if you're an employer, what support you can put in place for your employee. So autism is often characterized by difficulties in social interaction, communication, as well as restricted and repetitive patterns of behavior, interests, or activities. And often people can experience sensory sensitivities or an overload or a sensory overload. So that can be to external stimuli such as light, noise, smell, textures. What we call a spectrum condition, meaning that it manifests in a wide range of challenges and severity levels as well. So some of the workplace accommodations can include either providing or asking for a structured routine, ensuring that communications are clear, also allowing for a quiet and private workspace that can be helpful as well, minimizing sensory distractions, providing breaks to recharge, and if there are any skills workshops for skill building and training, then these can be utilized or provided as well. Coming on to dyslexia. Now, often some of the common challenges of dyslexia can include difficulties with reading, writing, and spellings. Some of the workplace accommodations can include providing written instructions in a clear font, so anything that's 12 or more, such as Calibri or Arial. Also, there is a font called Open Dyslexic, which is an additional download that can be downloaded for free, I believe. You can also ask for extra time for any reading and writing tasks. You can ask for assistive technologies, so text-to-speech and speech-to-text softwares are quite popular. Any training and mentoring opportunities could be utilised, and offering accommodations such as the format of the examination or extra time for examinations can be quite helpful as well. So coming on to dyspraxia, or developmental coordination disorder. Now, dyspraxic individuals can struggle with their motor coordination, so that's the coordination of muscle groups. They can also experience challenges with planning and organisation. Some of the workplace adjustments can include things like providing concise written instructions, allowing extra time for tasks that do involve fine motor skills, also providing assistive tools and equipment or asking for them. Ensure that all distractions are minimized, and that can help with focus and concentration. Offering or asking for a flexible work schedule, meaning that you can try to come in at a time where you are at your most productive, and if there are any opportunities for training and development, to utilize those. I also want to talk a little bit about dyscalculia. So dyscalculia can impact a person's ability to understand and manipulate numbers, making mathematical tasks quite challenging. It can also include difficulties with timekeeping and understanding money. And some of the workplace accommodations out there includes speaking calculators, so these speak out the numbers and the operations. You can try to utilize digital tools for example, something that measures distances. You can utilize digital devices. Visual representations of numerical data can be helpful as well. So, for example, pie charts and bar charts. Ensure that instructions are clear, and with extra time that can be helpful also. And of course, if there are any additional training and support out there, then to utilize those. To ADHD now. Now, this can, some of the challenges associated with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, that can include things like inattention, impulsivity, and difficulties with focus and concentration. Workplace accommodations can significantly enhance productivity and well-being, and things like noise-cancelling headphones can provide a more focused environment, minimising distractions and also enabling better concentration. Flexibility in work hours can be helpful. Try to break down tasks into smaller chunks. That can be helpful as well. And you can also implement the Pomodoro technique, which is, you can structure work intervals. You can work for 25 minutes and then take a short break. And that aligns well with, and help you to focus and concentrate and promote sustained attention. Now, unfortunately, often the focus is on areas of difficulty and challenge, but it is important to understand that neurodivergent individuals do have many strengths, and this is what research has shown, that they do often possess strengths such as determination, and they can be very empathetic people. If you think about the struggles that they face every day, that does make them more understanding of other people's difficulties. They can also be quite creative, good visual thinkers, excellent problem solvers. So remember that neurodiversity can bring a fresh perspective to the work environment because of the strengths that neurodivergent individuals have. And it is important to understand what their strengths are, and for neurodivergent individuals to be employed in areas of the business where they can excel, and that can be helpful to them as well as to their managers. So by embracing neurodiversity, you can create a more inclusive work environment that can support the needs of neurodivergent individuals. Unfortunately, neurodivergent individuals in the UK do often face unique stresses that can impact their well-being. And research has shown that neurodivergent individuals are more susceptible to experiencing stress due to various factors which we will look at. And sometimes they do also have difficulties with executive functioning, which refers to a set of mental processing or cognitive skills that do allow people to plan, organise, prioritise, and regulate their behaviours to achieve specific goals and to complete tasks effectively. Now, This increased stress can significantly impact the overall well-being of neurodivergent individuals, and it can also lead to higher rates of anxiety and depression, as well as other mental health conditions. So therefore, it is important to acknowledge and address these stresses to try to support the well-being of neurodivergent individuals. So let's take a look at some of the common stresses of neurodivergent individuals. And though these can vary widely, I'm just going to list a few of the very typical challenges that people can experience. So sometimes difficulties in interpreting nonverbal cues, understanding subtle social cues, and expressing oneself in a neurotypical work environment can lead to increased stress. Now, sensory sensitivity, so that can mean either hypersensitivity, so overly sensitive, or a hyposensitivity, so an undersensitivity to various sensory stimuli such as bright lights, loud noises, strong smells. Excuse me. All of that can be quite overwhelming, and it can contribute to stress in the workplace. Now, neurodivergent individuals may find it stressful when routines are disrupted, as some people can thrive on predictability and structured environments. Sometimes difficulties in quickly switching between tasks or managing multiple tasks simultaneously is quite a common, that does happen quite commonly in many work settings, and this can be a significant stressor. Often navigating social interactions, understanding unspoken social rules, and trying to build effective interpersonal relationships, that can also be challenging, and it can lead to stress in a workplace environment. Expectations to conform to workplace norms and behaviours that may not align with the neurodivergent way of thinking and processing information, and then that can also be a source of stress. Also, a big one is sometimes lack of clarity regarding job expectations, roles, or project goals. That can also be quite stressful, as neurodivergent individuals can do thrive in environments with clear structures and expectations. Sometimes transitions between tasks, teams, or roles can also be challenging, and people do need time to adjust. So a fear of underperforming or not meeting expectations can also contribute to heightened stress, and that can then impact a person's job performance. So understanding and addressing these stresses is crucial for creating a supportive and inclusive work environment. So let's see what you can do to try to alleviate some of these common stresses. Well, what you can do is try to manage sensory overload by maybe utilising sensory rooms or designated quiet areas, or maybe use noise cancelling headphones, for example. Also, try to so sometimes light can be a difficulty, so maybe use sunglasses. Fidget toys or sensory tools can also provide a bit of visual grounding, for instance. Another thing that you can do is try to travel during less crowded times, because we know that that can be quite overwhelming as well. You can try to practice deep breathing or grounding techniques to manage anxiety or stress. So engage in mindfulness and relaxation exercises, because this can activate the body's relaxation response, reducing the production of stress hormones such as cortisol. And that can lead to a decrease in stress levels and can also promote a sense of calm and tranquility. Now, mindfulness has actually been linked to improved physical health outcomes as well, including reduced blood pressure, improved sleep quality, and enhanced immune system functions. And there are some free apps out there called Headspace and Calm, which you can take a look at. Also, sometimes community support groups and online platforms can also offer support. So actively exploring these groups or clubs can empower individuals to try to maybe build meaningful connections with like-minded individuals. And try to take part in hobbies, because these can be quite helpful as well. So, I also want to take a look at supporting neurodiversity in the workplace and some of the strategies that you can utilize. Now, the benefits of embracing neurodiversity means that it brings together a range of cognitive styles and problem-solving approaches, and then that can foster innovation and also help the company overall to tap into different forms of creativity. Supporting neurodiversity demonstrates a commitment to creating an empathetic workplace. And this positive atmosphere can boost morale, reduce stress, and can contribute to overall better well-being for everyone. And then that can increase overall job satisfaction as well as retention. Now, if you ignore neurodiversity, that limits the talent pool of an organization. Embracing different neurological profiles, that can allow you as an organization, as a colleague, to tap into a broader range of skills and perspectives, which means that you can retain talent that might otherwise be overlooked. Also, by actively supporting neurodiversity, companies can also comply with their legal requirements and ethical obligations. When people perceive that their workplace respects and accommodates their needs, they are more likely to be engaged and productive. And of course, then that leads to an increase in productivity and loyalty. Now, companies that do actively promote neurodiversity contribute to a larger societal movement towards inclusivity and acceptance. So this is why, supporting neurodiversity is important, because it can promote ethical values and drive tangible benefits, not just for the organization, but also for the individuals. So, how can you try to create a stress-free workplace? Well, you can ensure that as an employer or an employee that you take part in any education and awareness initiatives. You can also work flexibly, because this can also help to reduce stress that's related to sensory sensitivities or routine disruptions. You can try to give feedback or provide sensory-friendly workplaces. So this might include quiet spaces or utilising noise cancelling headphones. always ensure that communications are clear, because that, if people are clear on expectations, then that can reduce stress. To implement individualized accommodations based on the needs of each neurodivergent individuals. So that can help to reduce stress as well. But, you establish regular feedback mechanisms, because this can allow neurodivergent individuals to express their needs and concerns, actively listen and make adjustments accordingly to enhance their overall well-being. And if there are any professional development opportunities that are tailored to the strengths and interests of neurodivergent individuals, that can help as well. So these are a few strategies which I've not gone into detail over, but these can help to reduce stress for neurodivergent individuals. Now, here at 2 Health, we can offer support with coaching, co-coaching. We also offer screening and diagnostics, as well as assistive technology and the training to be able to use this assistive technology. We do also offer awareness sessions, so some similar to today, but much more in depth. And we can, of course, tailor any training packages to organisational needs. Now, change is on the horizon, and more organisations have embarked on a journey towards inclusivity by promoting diversity within their workplaces. The way people think and some of the preconceptions associated with a different way of learning are also changing. And you do have notable figures such as Richard Branson, Steve Jobs. They have spoken about neurodiversity and highlighted its importance. And it's important to understand that people are multifaceted and they do not need to be defined by their thinking difference. So just to wrap up, here's a quick summary of what has been discussed today. So some of the neurodivergent conditions that we have looked at, and how neurodivergent individuals in the UK do face unique challenges that can impact their overall well-being. So some of the stresses that we've looked at, some of the strategies that you can utilise as well. Remember, neurodivergent individuals have many strengths, and that's what we should be focused on. Try to understand that the intersection of neurodiversity and workplace stress is quite nuanced, and it is an important aspect to consider in the contemporary professional landscape. So understanding the specific stresses can foster a more inclusive and supportive workplace environment. So hopefully today's very brief webinar has given you a better idea of some of the strengths of neurodivergent individuals, but also an insight into some of the stresses that they can face, and also how you can support others. We do value feedback, so please take a moment to review us on Trustpilot. And if you do wish to get in touch, you can do that via email, website, telephone, or on our social media platforms. So again, thank you very much for listening in today, and it's been a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. Bye.